everybody out there, and welcome to Impressive Productions and the return of the global game. If you're joining us for the first time, this is carried over from the old Game Show Gumbo channel, and I thank you for coming over if you watched it there, for your continued support and your patience as I took much longer than I anticipated to get this back up and running. I apologize for that. As some of you know, I'm a very busy man. I've had a little bit of time off lately, though, so I finally had a chance to sit down and work on this. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy the new channel, and I'll try to do some other things on here too, but again, because of my schedule, I can't make any promises at this point. So, continue with the global game. There's one thing that really lacks in television today, and that's truly live TV. Because even now, when they say live TV, there's a delay usually of a few seconds in case something unfortunate happens. And of course, when you're recording, recording, of course, when you're recording, you can easily start and stop. But when you're on truly live, you just got to keep going no matter what. And sometimes that can lead to some very unexpected or even tragic events, as was the case with the show we're going to be covering today, which is the first time we're exploring this country on this show. It's probably not one we're going to visit very often, but here it is, going all the way to Germany to talk about Wetten Dess. Wetten Dess, or Wannabet when translated, was a German variety show that originally ran from 1981 to 2014, where it aired live on the ZDF network. The show proved to be one of Europe's most popular shows and was a massive success. The basic idea was pretty simple. Guests appear on the show claiming they can perform an outrageous stunt, either physical, mental, or both, and celebrity panelists would make bets as to whether or not the guest would succeed. Bets can range from charitable donations, committing to do an appearance, or some sort of an embarrassing act, but it was all kept pretty lighthearted. The show would typically scheduled for 2 to 3 hours and would air live a few times every year, but it was not uncommon for the shows to go well over their runtime by as much as 45 minutes or more in some cases. In addition to the stunts, singers would stop by to perform live on the show. Hence, this was really more of a variety show rather than a true game show. The show's creator, Frank Eltzner, originally hosted the show until 1987, and he would give way to radio and TV personality Thomas Gottschalk, who became the most well-known host of the show, helming it originally from 1987 to 1992. And he would return in 1993, where he would host until 2011. Actor and singer Wolfgang Lippert hosted during Thomas's 2-year absence, and after Thomas left, he would be replaced by Marcus Lantz, who helmed the show until 2014, and the show's demise. On December 4th of 2010, the episode featured a guest named Samuel Koch, who was 23 years old at the time, and claimed that he could jump over 5 oncoming curves of gradually increasing size and faster speeds, using specially designed spring-loaded boots that could best be described as the ugly stepsister of a pogo stick and stilts. Koch was 23 at the time, as I said, and was an inspiring stuntman. He would successfully clear the first car. He would pass on the second one, but when he failed and then cleared the third car. However, on the fourth car, which was being driven into the studio by his own father, coincidentally, Koch failed to completely clear the car, hitting his head on the windshield and landing on the studio floor awkwardly. Paramedics on hand rushed to his aid, while cameras quickly caught the shots of the audience, who sat in stunned silence. Gottschalk and his co-host were equally as shocked and left silent. With no other choice, the host quickly sent the show to a commercial break, which would last for several minutes before it was finally announced that the show would be ending early for the first time in its entire history, out of respect to Samuel, who was being taken to a hospital in serious condition. It would later be revealed that Samuel fractured two cervical vertebrae, as well as suffered a spinal cord injury. Because of this, he was left in a quadriplegic state and will likely be in that state for the remainder of his life. Despite the injury, Samuel says does not hold the show at fault, that it was just a tragic accident, and he has still managed to have a semi successful career as an actor. However, the stunt gone wrong caused a whirlwind of controversy. Host, host Thomas Gottschalk was left with the unfortunate task of making several appearances on the news. He was trying to play damage control, explaining that producers had often asked Samuel if he wanted to abort the stunts, if he need any other accommodations, or if there was anything they could do, but he turned it on down. By the next episode, Thomas announced that he was stepping down as host, later admitting that the incident had a lot to do with that decision. Marcus Lance took over from thereafter, but due to the unpopularity of Marcus, as well as fallout because of the accident, the show's popularity quickly dwindled. And as a result, it was canceled in 2014. Although producers said it would end as a regular series, they did say that they were open to doing specials in the future. The show would eventually make its return to television. In 2018, ZDF announced they would air a one-night revival of Wetten Dess in celebration of Gottschalk's 70th birthday, with him having agreed to come back for the special. However, the special was later canceled in 2020 because of COVID, which shut down pretty much everything. It said the special would later air on November 6th of 2021 and was a huge hit where it received nearly 14 million viewers. So they were considered a full comeback. Thanks to this, another one-off special was scheduled for November 15th of 2022, with Thomas Gottschalk returning again, and the show began airing regularly. But in August of 2023, Gottschalk announced that he would be retiring from the show, with his last episode being broadcast on November 25th of 2023, with many fans criticizing the decision. Despite some of the controversy, the format, the basic format anyway, was simple enough, and as a result, it ended up being exported all over the world, with versions in Poland, Russia, Netherlands, Spain, even in America, where there were two different versions of Wanna Bet. Pilot, that aired in 1993, hosted by Good Morning America mainstay Mark McEwen, and a full series that aired in the summer of 2008, hosted by British hosts Ant and Dec. However, because of low ratings, it was not renewed for another season. And in the UK, there's the format was called You Bet and featured three celebrities trying to predict the outcome of various stunts, with the audience also doing so. And based on their votes, points are scored, with the highest score at the end of the day winning money for a charity of their choice. Well, the lowest scorer had to commit to some sort of uh, bet, basically like the German version. So that's pretty much all I can say about this format. And I hope you enjoyed this return of the global game as much as I did. So, on behalf of myself and everyone here at Impressive Productions, thanks for watching. So long.